we went to my buddy Connor's house, and shout out my best friend Connor Graham. I love that guy. We've been friends since we were in little elementary school, and we celebrated this at his house. There was 14 people there waiting for me when I got done with the fight. I had such good friends that I didn't even have to schedule it. They all decided to go there afterwards. I didn't even look at my phone until way late. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm surrounded by great people. I have a great support system, and it was amazing. I mean, I went there, and my buddy Charlie, he threw together this amazing video, and at the end of it, like, it's something I could look back at, and let's say I do get a career out of this, right? Let's say I do go far in this. It's something I could look back at, like, that was my first time. That was my first ever experience. And to have my wrestling team captain, Charlie Memphis Newman, to be there to film the whole thing and record it, I mean, dude, that's it was a gift, seriously.
Hello and welcome to the Grappling Hour. My name is Rafa Esparza. You are joining us on a great day. I'm here with an excellent guest. You've already probably heard some of what he's had to say. A very nice young gentleman, but we'll get to him in a second. Before we get to him, a few quick reminders. First and foremost, if you like this show, and I hope that you do, I would love it if you check us out at patreon.com/grappling hour. But Raph, what do I get if I go to patreon.com/grappling hour? Well, if you go there for just $5 a month, you could see our interviews 30 days before anybody else. So that means all those pores will see this interview way late. But all of you who support and love the show and maybe love me or you know, like, more honestly, the guest, don't flex on them hoes, dude. Hold on. Maybe I should point this out. I know that I'm usually doing my plugs right now. The amount of times that you looked at the mirror and flexed at the mirror. How many times do you think over under you did that today?
At least 8, 10 times.
Do you do that normally?
Hey, I was feeling myself, man. I'm in shape right now. I just got out of training camp. I look good. I feel good. I'm in shape. I mean, shit, you know?
But it's like, I would literally be talking to you and be like, hey, man, I really think you've got a great wrestling style.
You guys have a wall mirror. You know, the last time I seen a wall mirror, I mean, it was probably 9th grade of high school. I mean, when I was still living with my mom, man. That was a completely different story.
Were you flexing on that mirror,
too? I mean, definitely. I was there every single day, like, oh, I'm starting to get my newbie gains, my muscles, you know? I was still a little kid, though.
And that's fine. Well, every child thinks that they have gains. So, like, I would always tell people, I was like, if you ever see me doing, like, double guns, it's facetiously. Since I've been working with my S&C guy, I was like, hey, man, a little bit more. I'm like, nah, these are coming in kind of nice. They're looking a little juicy right now.
Dude, you look fucking...
I was okay.
You look solid, man. You got some good shoulders, some nice upper body.
I will tell you this. Stomach needs work. It's Mexican stomach. But the shoulders and the traps has to support this giant head. Hey. So it's definitely...
Respect where respect is due, right? Yeah.
He's very kind. All right, let's go back to me then. All right, we're going to talk with him in a second, but before we get back to him, check us out, patreon.com/grappling hour. Hey, it's $5 a month. It's very cheap, but if you want to pay a few extra dollars, you can see extra bonus content not available anywhere else, including tape studies with the athletes where we watch their matches with like the footage and we break it down. It's amazing. I love that segment. We do a segment called Roast Raf where people roast my competition footage. We do a segment called the Grappling Hour Challenge where guests get 2 minutes to hit a submission on me. I don't know what it is, but I get to roast them. And we even ask our favorite athletes what their favorite matches or fights of the year have been. So that is only for our exclusive Patreon members. That is patreon.com/grappling hour. Now, if you haven't liked, commented, or subscribed onto this video, I'm going to ask that you do that because every bit of that helps us to go ahead and get more and more people to see this show. So it really would mean a lot to me if you would do that right now. And if you don't know what you want to comment on, by the end of this video, I will give you a prompt for us to go ahead and talk about in that comment section. Last couple of reminders, you can head to rafasparza.com/grappling hour. You can also get you some Grappling Hour merch. We got t-shirts, we got tank tops, we got hoodies, all of those things. And this year we've decided if you are in a Grappling Hour tank top and you are questionably on sauce, we will not turn you in. But if you're wearing another show's tank top and you look questionably on the bomba, we will call you Sada. That is our official year policy. Now, I'm not naming people, but maybe certain guests here.
Yes.
Certain guests here might be on the sauce. We won't put him on blast.
Don't worry. Natty King.
You're a Natty King?
Natty King.
Okay,
Natty King.
Okay, all right. We're going to put some photos up that might say differently, but we're going to get through that and we're going to tell you guys. So you can check that out, rafasparza.com/merch. Last reminder, if you enjoy the show, and I hope that you do, check us out on our Discord at Grappling Hour. All right, let's talk about our guest. So this young man impressed me with a performance at the most recent RFL. So the Regime Fighting League has been doing an excellent job of matchmaking, creating some great, excellent young talent and bringing them onto the stage. Now, not only did he win his very first fight with the RFL, but he had personality for days. He packed a crowd. He put together one of the best post-fight experiences I've seen of any RFL fighter thus far in. He got a knockout on his very first experience, and it seems like he's hungry for more. We'll find out more as we get to know him better. But ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Andrew Gonzalez, a.k.a. Drewski. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it. What an introduction. I mean, I'm glad to be here. It's nothing I could want more, right? This is exactly what I pictured.
We've already had a very fun day. We trained for a bit. And when I mean a bit, I looked at the time. How long just base? How long do you think we rolled for?
I mean, I got here at 2:30. We didn't start rolling until probably around 3:30.
Hold on. Let's be very clear. Somebody showed up. And it's kind of weird because a coach here told me that he would have a private at a certain time. This person who showed up at the gym as we're talking showed up an hour before that. So I had to text him and I was like, hey, bud, your private's here and we're definitely talking to her and making sure you don't look bad. And he goes, she's early. And I go, I trust you. I believe you. But you somehow knew the guest that came in. You knew her brother. So what a freaking small world this is.
Well, I don't think it was her brother, but I knew her. I knew someone she worked with. I don't know if it was her manager or what it was, but Joseph Delgado, my good buddy Buggy from back in school, I actually grew up with this kid since middle school. He's a really nice guy, and he works at the Honey Cup. Shout out Honey Cup Coffee. They have great. I mean, I've only been a few times, but they have great coffee, right? Okay. But he's a good friend of mine, and he's a manager there. And I was like, hey, you said you just came from Honey Cup. Or do you know Buggy? Or do you know Sebastian Delgado? She's like, Joseph, because his real name's Joseph.
For sure.
And then I was like, well, yes. She's like, yes, that's my manager. And I was like, oh, that's a good friend of mine.
I just laughed because it is such a small world that you are waiting to roll with me and I'm waiting to roll with you. And like, I don't know if anybody's ever experienced this before, but when you are about to train with somebody you've never trained before, there is a weird level of when are we going to start? Right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like we're shooting the shit. We're having great conversation. But then we have this other person. So when he says, he's like, hey, man, I'm not coming in for another hour. And her response was to say, oh, cool, I'll just wait here. And I go, so you're just going to watch us roll? Which to us was competitive, but to a civilian, because neither of us is beating the other incredibly bad, probably looks incredibly boring.
Yeah.
So she was just like super chill, waited the whole time. It worked perfectly, but we did have a few minutes to wait. So I'm going to go back to my original question. How long do you think it was we rolled for today?
I think it was at least an hour and a half, but I'd probably bet it was about 2 hours. I mean, we were going for a minute. Like you said, right? She came in, she probably thought it was boring, but as the trainer came and she was getting her workout in, I mean, we picked up the pace. I mean,
We did.
we were
And
going.
I will say this. So I have a policy, which is I download the guest's game in the first 10 minutes.
Yes.
You had a very good game. And I knew I was
appreciate
like,
that.
It's going to be one of those days where I'm like, oh man, it's going to be, I can't sweep him like this. I got to do other stuff. And I knew, I was like, it's going to be back and forth. And man, when we both decided after a good warm up, because you said the following words to me, just so we understand the transgression of how it worked.
Yes.
You said, let's warm up. And I said, oh, okay. I'm going to go a certain rate until I feel you start to turn it up. And what I noticed was the more I regarded, the more you amped it up.
Yes.
But I am I think my best jiu-jitsu skill, I am a very, very good person at this. I can match your level.
Mm-hmm.
So I waited until I was like, oh no, he's starting to turn it up now. Oh, I guess we're going for real. Okay, here we go. And I felt like you were being so respectful. It was an incredible roll. But I will tell you this right now, it was an hour 35.
Hour 35.
Now I'm doing some math here because the video says an hour 43. But I felt like toward the end we were just shooting shit and talking.
Yeah.
So an hour and a half worth of time, 90 minutes. When you came into this gym, did you think we were going to be rolling that long?
I thought we would get like a 30-minute roll, maybe an hour, but I thought it was a 30-minute roll. And but dude, like it's dark outside. Like we had a good time, man. We were out here for a minute, freaking getting some scraps in.
We're chopping it up. But my thing that kind of gave me pause for a minute, just so you know, I have to always balance the guest and figure out what they truly mean and what their intentions are. You said the following after maybe 20 minutes. They're like, so are we done here? And I go, I mean,
you're like, let's keep going.
Well, I go, it's up to you. I go, but normally we roll for like about a 45 at least, usually an hour. And you were like, done, say less. And I go, okay. And then we got into this weird thing where it's like, oh, he's not stopping and I'm not stopping.
Yes.
And I picked up that you're pretty competitive. So from your perspective, do you think I'm competitive?
I would say you're very competitive. I mean, you definitely matched my style and you didn't give up anything easily at all. Like I had to work for every single position, had to work for every submission I tried. Like you were a game partner for sure.
And I like to tell people, I just always match what the other person does. So I feel if you're going a certain level, I try to be about there, but I also recognize, damn, good athlete, excellent work. There's stuff I know about you. And when we talked in our post-match interview at RFL,
I really got to go pee, dude.
Wait, okay, you will go.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. It's okay. You're perfectly fine. No, it's fine. So let's do this. I'm going to do a quick little reminder to you guys over on this side. Hey, you don't ever want to hold a guest hostage where they feel they can't go pee. So we're letting him go right now. I hope you can't hear it. I hope the sound mixer is making it so that you can't pick up any of that. But we're going to pick right back up here in just a second. I think you can hear all that. Because in my cheap monitor, I think you can hear the hand blower. It's okay, dude. Nobody judges you. It's just
Definitely bad timing.
it is bad timing. I do feel like we need to comment on this because I need you to understand this has never happened in an interview before.
I'm like sitting here trying to keep a straight face and I'm like, God, I'm about to piss my pants. I'm like, fuck. Let me just get up and go. I'm sorry, guys. Let's keep professional, but
Let's try this. What was I asking you before you left?
you were asking me
I want to see if you were able to pick up what I was asking.
if I thought you were as competitive as I was.
Okay.
Right?
And do you consider yourself a heavily competitive person?
I would definitely consider myself a heavily competitive person, and I would like to say that I rise to competition, and
Okay.
as we kept the pace, and we started slow, and as we kept going, we brought the pace up. You rose to competition, and you elevated your competition above mine. I mean, I was trying to keep up with you at a certain point. You know what I mean?
I like to think of it like this. When I see the guest is here, I never want to overdo what they're doing, because I feel like that's a rude thing. But I feel if, oh man, he's going a little more competitive, he's doing this, I can go up a little bit higher as well. So I just always feel like as long as you don't take offense to any of it, we're in a good position. We're going to have fun. We're going to do that. So you did have fun as we were rolling.
Exactly.
Okay, great.
And I'd like to, like I said, students of the game, right? And I know that, I mean, it's no secret you're better than me at grappling, right? Like, I know that you're going, well, I mean, come on. You stay humble. He's humble, but...
Hold on. I want to be very clear. For where he's at right now, like, this dude's probably going to be better than me in 6 weeks. But for right now, from what he knows and what he is transitioned from an incredible wrestling game, very good start.
I appreciate it.
I'm going to fuck him up the next time. But that's only because I just don't want him to win.
Competitor.
Because he said he's a competitor. And like, what am I supposed to do? Just be like, well, I guess there's nothing for me. I should just give up. Like, who says that shit, dude?
And
go ahead.
Sorry, and that's exactly what I mean. Like, this guy's game, he rose to the competition. He showed up. He's like, hey man, like, I might be an interviewer, but I ain't no pushover. I ain't no MMA guru, right?
Wow.
I'm gonna come over and I'm gonna
what's so wild is I've seen the MMA guru photos, and there were a couple where I was like, hey, I thought he was gonna be fatter than that.
Right.
He actually had pretty decent arms. Granted, he's still bulky, but like in the way
big fella
that you almost feel like the Kingpin is in the Spider-Man series, where you go, oh, is that bulk or is that muscle? I just know this about MMA guru. I feel like that rage bait does great for getting people engaged, but not from a, oh, I respect you angle. So when he's rolling with Demetrius Johnson, I don't care how that roll goes. When he's talking with this fighter or that, or he can't do something to this fighter or that, I'm like, dude, I don't give a fuck, because I don't feel he's immersed in the culture. And one of the things I try to do as an interviewer is I go, win or lose, I'm going to be in there with you. And as long as you are looking at me and saying like, we still going? I'm going to be like, yes. And especially when the guest is giving you good rounds, why would you not take that opportunity to be just as good as you can be? Because I always tell people, I'm like, dude, if you cheat the guest by not being the best grappler you can be, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, like you said, like the Ariel Helwani clip, right? Of you saw him not being able to do anything. You're like, dude, I do not want to look like that. Like, you know how much respect I gave you off of, like, when I went to go comb my hair in the car after I took the shower after our training. I was like, dude, I'm sitting in the car thinking like, man, this dude is a fucking dog. Like, you're a dog, bro.
Thank
like
you, man. That's very nice of you to say.
Of course.
I feel like this. I feel like in the world of jiu-jitsu, there's plenty of guys like me that are my age, who are in the gyms, who are those secret hidden warriors. I just feel like I'm the one that gets to interview people or wants to interview people. And so when I'm in a room with them, my job is always to be like, hey man, how's the best round I can give you? What is that best round I can give you? And then we didn't have a timer, and you passed my first test, which is, are you going to be cool? Because if you're cool, I'm not putting on a timer. And I immediately told him, I was like, hey man, you're cool. We're not going to put on a timer. We're going to have good rounds.
Yes.
We're going to be good back and forth. And there were a couple times where we broke down a couple things, and I said like, hey, here's some good news. Here's what I think for this. And I just had a really good appreciation for what you've done, what your team has done with you. And I just thought like, man, if you're right here right now, I can only imagine what happens in the short amount of time that you're working with people. Now, I want to compliment you on one thing, because his base is wrestling. So I thought, why am I going to wrestle with this dude?
Yeah.
But about 45 minutes in, I stood up and I said, I'll give you a wrestling opportunity. And I stood up for 5 minutes, okay? He's half my age, clearly a better wrestler, but I said, all right, do what you want. And we had some good hand fighting. He was being very nice to me. But the minute I stopped was when I saw you do the flip that you did to your opponent that stopped the fight.
Mm-hmm.
That was the exact same flip. And you said something that was so funny to me where you're like, I wasn't really going to just like launch you and do it. I go, but I've seen you do it. I don't need to do it anymore. I know you're good at that. Because my man here, in case you haven't seen the fight, you get this hook, you throw him down, and you only had to throw 2 more punches, maybe at most, and they called the fight.
Mm-hmm.
So when I've seen that before, why do you think at all I'm going to indulge any more stand-up with you, sir?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, you're a competitor, and we went up there, but like, I went for it. I showed it to you for a second, and you immediately sat back. I was like, yeah. Even if I went to rip it, I mean, I was going to put myself in a bad position. And like you said, you're experienced there, right? You're experienced, and you saw what was coming. You saw what I did in my last fight.
I had a respect for what you did.
Yes.
And when you were like, oh, man, I could control it. I was like, I saw you last week, and you definitely controlled it. I'm just not going to be the person getting flipped. But I felt like your performance last week was incredible. You brought a hell of a lot of people. How long were you in the lobby talking and taking photos with people? Because I did an interview with you at the Step and Repeat. And then I had another person that I was bringing to do an interview at the Step and Repeat. And you were still there with your people. And I didn't want to kick you out, but I was like, hey, bro, I do need to borrow this back again. And I hope you understand that.
Yes.
So how many people did you have there?
Dude, first of all, thank you to everybody who came out to support. I love all of you guys. I have a great support system and a very great, determined, gritty mindset. And with a great support system and a gritty mindset, I can take you far on its own, right? And I had so many friends that pulled up and so much family members that pulled up and showed the support. And when I was getting those messages, right, the month of, because like you said, I don't have anything on my Instagram. I went ghost for a little bit and went to go train and was like, you know what, I had a bad habit of just doom scrolling and being on the Instagram for so long and the Snapchat and all that stuff. And I got away from it. And when I came back, the support I got, I mean, it motivated me to work that much harder because I knew everyone was going to be there to support me. I knew everyone was going to be there to watch me do what I do. And nobody knows how my skills, right? I'm the only one who's been there every single day in that training room, knowing and strengthening and trying to critique my craft, right? Better my craft every single day. And nobody knows that. Nobody sees that. Nobody understands what I understand. And going out there and having that pressure where it was a good pressure, where it was like, I have loved ones there that are there to support me. And my coach, my team, they really helped me with the mindset. My coach would always say, no matter what happens, I lose or I win, tomorrow I got to wake up. I got to take the trash out. I got to mow the lawn. I got to say hi to my mom. Got to say, I love you. Got to all that stuff. It's still, life goes on, right? And knowing that mindset and having the team I had, having the pressure I had, the good pressure on like, hey, I need to perform because I have all these people out there to support me. It really made me feel like there was nothing that my opponent could do to take that moment from me. Like I felt like this was my moment. You know what I mean? Like it was just so played out to be perfect for me. And I wanted to make sure that I did everything to make sure that didn't cut any corners during training camp. Like even when I didn't get to Bobby's on the days that I couldn't make it, I was still training, whether it was at the UFC gym, whether it was running, whether it was whatever it was, I made sure that I prepared myself.
Good for you, man. Okay. Can I ask this though? Because I think it's so important for people to know, especially when you bring that many people there. And like, I didn't want to ruin the party. Like I just saw you with all those people and I go, oh, he deserves this. Like your first fight, you get this incredible result and you should enjoy it. And then I'm looking at you and I just wondered, I was like, what does this mean to you? Because yeah, you have all these people that showed up for you, but this is the visualization that every fighter has. And they think, man, when I win, X is going to happen or Y is going to happen. But in that moment, what did it actually mean to you? Because it's not just you showing up that day. it's years worth of you putting in the work. And even before you were stepping into that wrestling room for the very first time to be a wrestler, somewhere in the back of your mind, I think this was what you wanted. Mm-hmm. And you got the result you wanted after all those years. So what did it actually mean to you when it happened?
When it happened, dude, I would say that it was literally, it was everything that I hoped it could have been. I'm a very visual person, and I imagined every moment how it could be if I lost, right? How it could be if I won, how it could be if every possible scenario I imagined. And when it played out exactly the way I wanted it to be, my ideal scenario, my ideal debut, right? Where it would just, everything played out perfect. The moment that it meant to me was, I mean, I don't even think I have words to explain it, because the feeling is something you can't explain. The feeling is something you experience. And being in that moment, like I tell my friends, when I walked out, I didn't have any nerves. I didn't have any butterflies, didn't have any, my legs weren't shaky. I felt so ready and so perfected for this moment. And so like, the energy of like everyone for the walkout, the hearing the barking before I came into the cage. I mean, dude, every little thing, it fueled the flame instead of, made me too nervous to perform. Like I don't know how to explain it, but besides the fact that like I prepared specifically for this moment, like you said, like I've always had that thing in the back of my mind. I was going to be a fighter. I was a martial artist at heart, and I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better night. Seriously, everyone who came to support me, they made it that much better. And I understand that without them, it wouldn't have been as special. Seriously.
Yeah. Okay. You are right in that regard. And I want to get more into why, from an outsider's perspective, it is so intriguing, because you had a friend who put together this incredible video package. And okay, I have to give you shit, because we've talked about your penchant for just flexing on them hoes. But I don't know if you remember one of the very first things I sent to you when you were sitting there and you get into your fighter stance. And my man literally is just in the same fighter shorts he fought in that night, by the way. Okay. But like started like putting up the arms, like the fighter stance. But he had a cupboard behind him that was still open. And I was like, brother, can you just close that? Because I don't need to see your low on Depends right now, or Huggies, or whatever's in that cupboard. But just like know your surroundings and just close the cabinet behind you if you could. So I got a sense that there was some really cool stuff that happened after I saw you and after you left the venue. So can you tell us, one, who put together that video, and two, what was the celebration that night? Because I think it's important for people to know, okay, yes, we do have beers on hand, and it is because a certain young man, cheers to you, turned 21. So this is legal. I checked his ID. While in camp. So there's a lot going on. But what happened after I left you and I had no clue what was going on? It looked like there was a house party. It looked like your friends were filming it. And you said you were supposed to, I don't know if I remember this correctly, get pizza. So I need to know all of the results that happened after you left the venue, sir.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you asked. So the buddy who threw together that video, he was my first team captain, my only team captain I ever had. Well, I guess John Miller was, but Charlie Memphis Newman, my team captain in wrestling, man, he was a great wrestler. He was a lighter guy, but he was the funk master, or I forget exactly, but he had a funk wrestling style, right? Yeah. And every time you rolled with him, you had to scramble, man. And he got me so good at my scrambling, my athletic ability. And he's a dime piece, man. And he's been working on his, I don't know, what is it, videography skills, sure. Yeah. Right? He's been working on that since we were in high school. And he told me, he's like, I want to put a video together for you. And he actually wanted to take videos of us in training camp, but we weren't able to schedule that. And he just got it for our celebration. And dude, we went to my buddy Connor's house, and shout out my best friend Connor Graham. I love that guy. We've been friends since we were in little elementary school, and we celebrated this at his house. There was 14 people there waiting for me when I got done with the fight. I had such good friends that I didn't even have to schedule it. They all decided to go there afterwards. I didn't even look at my phone until way late. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm surrounded by great people. I have a great support system, and it was amazing. I mean, I went there, and my buddy Charlie, he threw together this amazing video, and at the end of it, like, it's something I could look back at, and let's say I do get a career out of this, right? Let's say I do go far in this. It's something I could look back at like that was my first time. That was my first ever experience, and to have my wrestling team captain, Charlie Memphis Newman, to be there to film the whole thing and record it. I mean, dude, that's it was a gift, seriously. And if you guys, not many people know, but he got an injury with his knee, so he hasn't competed. He hasn't trained in a very long time because he had this very serious injury. He had to get surgery. I mean, it was a whole thing, and he's one of the best wrestlers I ever knew, and he still loves the sport, and this was almost his way of staying involved. You know what I mean?
That's
it was
awesome.
His way of almost being in that, still having that experience, that martial arts experience. And I mean, dude, he threw together a masterclass. I couldn't be happier for what he showed me.
So we should also pay the compliment to him, because I did tell you when you walked in today, and full disclosure, there's a lot of stuff that check the boxes as to why you earned an interview today. One, after you got to your medicals, you were so respectful to your opponent. You were saying like, hey man, you took those shots, respect to you. You were so nice. I know that happens sometimes initially when people start to fight, but it doesn't always happen. And you don't always see that connection. And I feel like, especially for people who have the courage to get into that cage, there is a brotherhood. You don't view them as an enemy after the cage ends. And you kind of return back to normal, and you were so kind to him, and you had complimentary things to say to him. We have this fun interview. I get a sense of your personality. I thought that was great. But to your friend who put that together, when I saw that, that's when I reached out to you and I said, let's do an interview, because that 9-minute that 9-minute little piece he put together told me about your personality, where you come from, who your people are, how he intercut video footage of your fight and then Bailey's fight.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, it's not just you, it's the people that matter to you. And to me, I'm like, one, that's a very good videographer. So he deserves just as much credit as your performance does for getting you here today. But it is so hard to get a sense of what a fighter is like. And the thing I loved about watching your stories after you went home that night, full disclosure, I went to go get some ramen. So I'm at a ramen bar slurping on some noodles, and I'm watching, and I see you at home, and I saw you just surprised with all those cars there. And I just thought, what a great moment. Like, your friends, your family showed out for you. And then I put it together because we had very briefly talked about it. Dude, you turned 21. So when they said this fight was going to be that weekend, I remember when I turned 21, I didn't even drink at that time, but I was like, wait, oh, I'm going to have a beer that night. You can't have a beer when you're cutting weight.
Like, yeah.
So what was that like? Because that was also putting that celebration to turn 21 after the fight and the business had concluded. So I'm sure you guys made up for it that night.
Yes, 100%. So my 21st birthday, I'm not going to lie, man, I didn't even think about it. So I've been training to fight since September of 2025. Okay. I've been training to get into the octagon since September of 2025. And I've been training before that, obviously, right? First time I stepped into Bobby's was 2020, but to train to actually fight was September. And my buddy JT had a fight in October, and that's what actually got me into it. I was like, man, he's fighting. Why don't I get in there? Like, fucking, I used to skate with this kid. You know what I mean? And I went, and he actually didn't end up fighting that card, but just seeing that alone and being in that moment, it's like, man, I need to get out there. I really need to put myself out there. I went to see the LFA fights in the November right after that. And as soon as October 13th at that Tarantula Hill Brewing Company card, when they announced that they were going to have a fight on the 21st of February, that's when I decided, like, you know what? I'm going to train to fight on that February card. So subconsciously, I made that idea in my mind that I was going to fight on that February 21st card. So everything from that day on, I was training. I mean, I wasn't training like a camp, right? Because camp, if you're training for a camp for 4 months or 5 months, it's going to literally destroy your body, right? Yep. But I kept that in mind, and I got my skills better. And what I would do is I would strictly stay stand-up, because that's where I lacked the most. And I got those skills better until eventually I would be able to go to train for a fight. And when I trained for a fight, I really started to mix it all together, because my coach, Bobby Taylor, very great man, very, I mean, dude, he's for the community 100%. He's not there to just make money off you. He's there to really try to build the community. And I love Bobby Taylor. He is a great man. Seriously, he's been nice to me ever since I stepped into his gym for the first time in 2020. But that guy, I mean, he really trained me to fight for, I mean, he trained me to fight for a jiu-jitsu guy, you know? He trained me to specifically go against my opponent. And I mean, with everything that I did for that camp, there was nothing that I felt he could do that would beat me. You know what I mean? I was too prepared. I started before I imagined he did, right? Since September, and it was my moment. Like I said before, there was nothing I felt he could do to take that moment from me. And maybe that's why I went in there without butterflies. Maybe that's why I went in there without anxiety, but it was just definitely the most ideal experience I could get. And I know not every fight's going to be like that. I'm not delusional, but I plan to definitely, I'm chasing that moment. I'm chasing the experience I got more than the actual fight.
Okay, well, you're kind of answering that next question that I have, but where do you see this going? Because we're going to get into the backstory here in a second. We always do origin story on this episode whenever we have somebody for the first time. But what is the plan? Like, are you looking to go pro, or is this the beginning of what has been a culmination of years of putting it together? Because I think when people understand more about your history and more about kind of the way that you've approached your martial arts career, they'll have an understanding of why. But for me, the one thing we didn't talk about while we were training and rolling was, where do you see this going for you?
So I'm not going to lie. When I first took this fight, or when I first decided I wanted to fight, I was more like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to fight because I want to do it. I want to experience. I want to see how I do in there. I want to test myself. And I'm not going to lie. That was more for I was afraid of fully committing, right? I was afraid of what everyone would see. I had a step uncle, a step Theo, and he would always talk about how, oh, you're going to go get punched in the head for a living, or, oh, you're just getting punched in the head and not doing anything about it. You're not going to make nothing. You know, he would talk crap about it. And it's funny because now when I fight, he's just all supportive, and he's, yo, that's my nephew. Yeah, go ahead. It's like, dude, what the hell? I remember what you were saying, but like I definitely had that mindset where it was like, I don't know where this is going to go. I just wanted to do one fight. And after having that experience, and it really is the people that I had to support me, because like I said, what I'm chasing is the moment to bring everyone together again. I'm chasing the moment to bring everyone together again, and to have that experience, and almost to be the center of attention for a moment. I like that I worked so hard for a specific moment on a specific date, and I got my desired result. And that moment was almost just like about everything that I worked for. You know what I mean? And that, having that in your head to work towards again, like to try to achieve that experience again, it's motivating. And it's what I'm chasing, rather than actually trying to get in there. And I don't want to go in there and hurt anybody. I don't want to go in there and fight and, you know, fucking knock someone out and really take from their health. I want to go and chase the experience. I want to go there and feel that crowd again. I want to go there and feel that celebration. I want to go there and feel the feel the moment, you know what I mean? And that's why when I trained during my birthday, right, it was like, I don't care that I'm 21. I don't care that I just turned 21 and I can't eat a slice of cake, I can't eat a cookie, I can't even have a drink. It's like, dude, this is all going to be worth it come Saturday. Like, this is exactly what I wanted. This is my birthday present to myself. And I don't know, it was just, it was literally perfect in my eyes. And that's what makes me want to go in there and almost chase the career out of it, right? Because it's not just that experience I'm chasing, it's chasing that lifelong experience of like, that could be my life. I don't even want to be champion. I don't even want to be the best there ever was. I would like to make a living out of fighting. That is my goal. That would be so great to me, right? That would be the ideal life for me, to just do what I love and go out there and fight and make a living out of it. That's all I want to do. And if I can't do that, so be it, right? But it's definitely a dream of mine.
Well, hold on. I feel Coach Bobby and I might have words about that. You'll probably want a championship at some point. But I think the essence of what you're saying is you got a taste of it, you want to go further, and you recognized where your skills came in handy for something that is incredibly difficult to do. And I can affirm that you are a guy that is competitive as they can be within the reason of this is a sport. Because that's what I felt today when we were rolling. It was never malicious. You'd put shoulder pressure or try to get a submission, and I would just go, man, he's trying to get a finish. Respect to him. And like, I think he wants from me to put that on him in the same way.
Yes.
And I feel like the more I can meet him at where he's at, the better our experience training together today is going to be. And I felt 100% no maliciousness, just fun, just really good training, and really like, it's so weird to explain this concept to people who don't train, where it's like we gravitate towards other people who push the best out of us. And so without knowing you, without having any discussions, it's just like, hey man, let's train. Do you have any injuries? Okay, good. You're good. Let's just roll. Let's do this. And then just pulling the best out of each other for that hour and 30 plus minutes of like, damn, this dude's good. He's going to be a resourceful guy. He's going to feel this. He's going to do this. And what I always like to do is I take an assessment of, if this is where you're at now, what is it that you're going to add to your game? And so there was a lot of me just basically taking screenshots in my head of where you currently reside. And I like where you're going. I feel like you're going to find more opportunities to merge your wrestling background, what you put together, and what you're doing with your current team that will make you a problem for a number of people. Because I'll be honest, 205 people, it gets real shady into that. Like, is this just a big dude that can push me around? You're an athletic 205 right now who fights at 185. And anybody who's going to, don't flex like that, dude. God damn it. See, this is what I don't want to actually do, the compliment now, where I was like, I had a compliment, now I'm just going to.
Nah, you should take it away.
Just all gone now.
Fuck.
Anyway, all right. Let's go to the next set, which is you do that, you have this great stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong. You said you were going to get some pizza afterwards.
Yes.
Okay.
Some hot honey pizza.
Now hold on. But then I heard you make a very passionate appeal in the video your boy put together about Domino's pizza. And I wasn't expecting that, because Domino's is not top of my food chain, but you made a very compelling argument. What was the argument that you made for Domino's pizza, sir?
Could we pause this right here, because I need to pee again?
You have to pee again?
I do. I have a
what the shit? What the heck? What? Oh my.
I never did. You see me shaking? You see it?
I just thought you were nodding your head. Listen. You can tell he's a kid. He just turned 21. He had a couple beers. We're not trying to get him super drunk. We just wanted him to have a celebratory amount. And now he has had to take a second pee break. So he already made history by being the first guest to ask to take a pee break while we're interviewing. And then he's so competitive. He says, no. I want to make sure I'm not only the first guest to ever do that, I'm going to be the first guest to do it twice. So,
what you know about that? No, but seriously,
okay.
I mean.
Okay, let's get to the Domino's question. Why Domino's Pizza? And why were you shilling for them? Because they're not a sponsor yet. They could be, 100%. But I heard you making a very, very economic appeal for them.
Okay, so the reason why I agree, Domino's Pizza isn't the best, right?
Okay.
But when you're living in California with how expensive it is over here, sometimes they're the most affordable, right? And they have this great deal that I grew up on since I was a little kid. And it's the 2 medium carryout, 2 topping pizza. And what you get is you get 2 medium pizzas for, it was like $5.99 at one point, but now it's $7.99 each. Okay. And you can get 2 toppings, whatever you want. I mean, pineapple and ham, pepperoni and sausage. If you want to do, instead of robust tomato, you could do barbecue, right? Okay. And then you could do chicken. That's what I do. I usually do barbecue and chicken. And then
barbecue and chicken is good. Okay. But what's the second one you were talking about?
I would do pineapple and ham. I know.
Okay, let's
talk.
Let's talk. No. What are we doing with pineapple?
What? Hold on. Before we move on.
Okay.
Domino's, I know it's not the best, but Valentino's in Camarillo, where I work right in that shopping center right there. I work security, right? Valentino's, they are great. The best pizza I've ever had. Valentino's Pizzeria. Go check them out. They're amazing.
Okay, that's fine. Hey, sponsor here. Okay, let's get into this. Why are you going hard in the paint for Hawaiian pizza? Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm the audience for Hawaiian pizza, but only Hawaiian pizza. Because when people get really deep about pineapple on their pizza, they get very, very emotional about it. And yet you stuck your neck out. You said, no, I will get that Hawaiian pizza. Why are you doing this? And why do you hate good pizza, sir?
Listen, I understand that everybody agrees with the pineapple, but I gotta admit, my buddy, my best friend, Bailey's brother, Bailey sees Jordan, his brother, Kalani, Kanaka boy. He's from the islands. He's a little Hawaiian, you know what I mean? That was my first ever friend. We share a birthday. Basically, he's the 17th, I'm the 18th. He put me on. What can I say? You know, I grew up with it. It was my little Kanaka culture.
Because the difficult part to me is I grew up way before the internet, where I go, oh, pineapple and that little Hawaiian ham. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And then people would do dumber shit where they're like pineapple and tomatoes. And I go, we don't need to do that.
Well, they already got tomato sauce, right? Like, come on, you do too much.
This seems excessive. We don't do that here. And then I would see people get in the comments and they're like, I will ride or die with pineapple and Hawaiian pizza. And I go, yeah, sure, I like it, but it's not my number one. So you mentioned chicken and barbecue sauce, right?
That's killer.
That's killer. But what is your number one? If you could order at the best pizza spot possible, what are you ordering right now? Imagine this pizza is exactly the way you picture it in your head. What is the order, sir?
So I'm very basic with this, but I am correct. If anybody has ever tried this, they will agree with me. Hot honey pizza. And not just the regular pepperoni hot honey. I'm talking about the pepperonis that are, they come up. They're like, you know, the specific ones. I forget exactly what they're called, but they literally, they're literally so bowl shaped they can hold the grease from the pepperonis in them. You know what I mean? and then you drizzle your hot honey. You can't just put regular honey. It's got to be hot honey on top of it.
Okay.
And I know it's basic, but you cannot go wrong. Marco's Pizza has some of the best hot honey pizza, but unfortunately their Oxnard and their Ventura locations are closed. So
what are you doing to us? Why would you tell us that and be like, by the way, they're not in operation right now?
I mean, we all got to suffer, right? I mean, I can't enjoy it, neither can you guys. What do you want?
Okay, let's make a deal. Okay, next time, after your next win, and we do one of these, we're going to roll.
Mm-hmm.
Loser has to buy the hot honey pizza.
That's something I will shake on right
Because the
there.
reason why is, and I don't say this as somebody who, I don't know, unquestionably may have done a little bit better than him today. I feel like that's going to pull a different side out of your personality. Like, I feel like putting pizza down is like the wager is you being like, oh, I was holding back today. Now it's all on.
I'm about to pull up like Mikey from Ninja Turtles. You don't know.
You mentioned a relationship with Bailey's brother.
Yes.
Where does this go back? Because Bailey is beloved on the show.
Wow.
Talk to us about this connection, because when Bailey showed up on the scene to me at RFL, I looked at him. I had respect for his game. I rolled with him. An incredible grappler. Very good.
Very good.
And just really represents himself so well, and very easy to rally around and get behind. And yet I wondered, because he was the one to tell me, he was like, oh, bro, did you know that Andrew and like my brother are like best friends? And I go, of course I don't. I just know some of you guys know each other. I don't know all the ins and outs of this. So where does that come up, and how long have you known each other?
So I actually just hung out with him today before I came here. But he was my first ever friend in preschool. We went to Satakoy Jumpstart in Ventura, where I'm from. Mm-hmm. And we had Miss Tammy, who was our preschool teacher. And we were, I don't know if we were seat partners or what. I mean, I was too young to remember, but that was my first ever best friend. And we have pictures of us together from when we went to the Santa Barbara Zoo, when, the field trip type of deal. We have pictures of us on pool day, little kids, you know what I mean? And that's my first ever best friend. And to this day, I mean, we stopped talking for a while. And when we came back to each other, it was actually when I started training at Bobby's again around 2020. Mm-hmm. It was when we started skateboarding, and I went to Hobart Skate Park. I started hanging out with this guy, Kalani, and I'm like, something about you rings a bell. Tell my mom. She pulls up a picture and she's like, dude, is this Kalani? And I'm like,
oh my God,
that totally is Kalani.
Wow.
We bonded right off of that. I mean, dude, he's such a great guy, seriously, and I couldn't ask for a better first friend, seriously. You know what I mean? Like, we share a birthday almost identically. We're a day apart, and he's always had my best interest, right? He's always been there to be more of a friend than a supporter, because people could get behind you and tell you things that you want to hear, but people that actually love you will tell you things that you need to hear, right?
Okay. But you do understand the oddness of this, which is that Bailey fights at RFL. Okay. So
And he is a star.
A lot of people have friends who sometimes find their way to martial arts. That's not a surprise. That's not an issue. But you found yourself into RFL. That is a very small percentage of a percentage sort of a thing. So what did it feel like to watch Bailey go through his journey, and then you go through your very different journey to now be in this fighting game?
It was definitely inspiring, right? So I went to his first fight, the October 13th card in Tarantula Hill Brewing Company, and I'm sure you know this, but he works at Tarantula Hill, right? And so he had a lot of supporters there. He had a very great turnout, and it was almost, his debut was almost like how my debut went, right? Where it was just perfect. He had so many supporters, and it was exactly how he wanted it to go, right?
Yep.
And I would say that Bailey inspired me. He almost, because I had that friend JT, right, who made me think like, maybe I could get in there, right? And I go to watch him fight. He ends up not fighting that card, but my buddy Bailey does. I see him have the best performance he could have imagined, and it's like, dude, I need to get in there. And it was just that push start that I needed. Right after that, in November, we went to LFA fights, right, in Ventura County. They're just having them. They had them yesterday.
Yep.
Right, a year in advance. But I went to the previous ones, and that's when I was like, dude, it was just that push start that I needed. Like, I needed to see that and to go experience that in real life to understand, like, I need to step in that cage, whether I win or lose, whether I do something with it or not. I need to test myself and step in that cage, because sitting here and watching it, I get too much from that. You know what I mean? Like, I need to be in there.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know this, that you had mentioned you were with Bailey today. Now, Bailey.
No, not Bailey, Kalani.
You were with Kalani.
Yes,
okay.
His little brother.
My apologies. I thought you were with Bailey. So I was going to ask, had you talked to Bailey? Because Bailey's done this before. And I don't know if you know that, but I wasn't sure if you had talked with him. So there was no words exchanged between you and Bailey about this experience, right?
But there was words exchanged to Kalani, and Kalani, being the brother of Bailey, knows that he grappled with you. And I was like, yeah, I'm getting, first interview. I'm getting interviewed today. It's no big deal, acting like it's, acting like I'm a superstar. I'm making jokes about it. And he's all like, oh, dude, no way. And I'm like, yeah, the Grappling Hour, your brother got interviewed. Because I watched Danny. I watched Bailey. I've seen that you've interviewed them. I know of you, right?
Yeah,
and
sure.
I was honestly when you said that you wanted to interview me, I was like, dude, fucking A. After my first debut, man, fucking did something right.
Well, let's be real. It's a lot of how I tell people, if you ever get a message from me, you've earned it. And you earned it from multiple ways, because I tell people it is part of feeling and part years of experience. So the feeling is me going like, I don't know. I don't know how this guy is. We'll see. But the credibility always comes from, what was their performance like? So you put those two things together, you did deserve one. But the secondary parts were, again, the video where you showed your personality, you with your family, seeing your friends all celebrate you. Like, I saw part of your personality. And in our world of MMA, showing personality is sometimes guarded, because when I talk to people, I don't want to talk to their persona. I don't want to talk to their projected image that they are on Instagram. I want to just get to know who they are. And I feel like those are the best interviews. Now, granted, I've done some in the past where people just are very guarded and maybe they don't tell you everything. But with you, I was like, dude, in 9 minutes, I got to know you better than I've known almost anybody at RFL so far. And that wasn't even something I produced. That was your friend produced that. And I go, oh, okay, cool. That's a good personality. That's fun. You seem like you're enjoying the ride. And then knowing, all right, Bailey knows you. His family knows you. Yes, that's cool that his brother is like, yo, Raf, I guess, has a connection. There's like a nice little thread that comes through. Bailey did have a question for you.
Oh, let's see it.
Okay.
I love Bailey.
And I'm wondering how you'll respond to this.
Okay.
But I think this is going to transition nicely to our next section. So Bailey told me to ask you what Buena Wrestling means to him.
Wow, that's a loaded question. Buena Wrestling, man, is a core memory that I will forever have. Buena Wrestling, so my coaches were Coach Johnny Smithson, who is the only ever, I'm pretty sure, state champion or national champion from Buena, whatever it was. He won Greco-Roman freestyle when he wrestled. And I mean, he's an old fart now, but he was the best Buena's ever produced. And Eddie Martinez, also a great coach. He coached at my middle school, but I never wrestled. And he came to Buena, and I had both those guys over me when I wrestled. And not only them, but my buddy John Miller. Look to see John Miller April 18th. And also Charlie Newman, the guy who threw together that video. Both of my team captains at the time. I mean, they they made me exactly the wrestler I am today. But the core memory part of it is, I mean, they almost gave me a personality and identity that I didn't know that I had, right? Because when I first got into Buena, or when I first started Buena, everyone does their little freshman football gig, right? Everyone joins a football team, and that's what I did. And during my freshman year, it was COVID year, and I ended up getting kicked off the team because of grades. And my whole route back into athleticism was training at Bobby's, right? During the COVID time. And I mentioned to him I wanted to wrestle. He takes me, tells me, you got natural ability. I think wrestling would be a good idea for you. I go into Buena Wrestling, and those guys, I mean, so we bring it back to John Miller. That guy, me and him had beef all the way up until middle school, up until high school. And going into that wrestling room, he was a big part of that wrestling room. He wasn't just a player on the team, or he wasn't just a wrestler on the team. He was a very big part of the team, one of the best on the team, and he was a leader, right? There's different peoples in the room. There's leaders in the room.
Yeah.
He was one of them. And having beef with the guy like that, he's definitely wanting to show who he is. So going into that wrestling room, having that relationship where it's not on the best terms, and then just getting accepted like I'm family, was something I'll never forget. It was like the best. Knowing, obviously Bobby was the first martial arts gym I ever stepped into, but knowing that that's how martial arts is, right? Knowing that it's more of we're family, we're together rather than against each other. That changed my whole perspective on martial arts. It changed my whole perspective on getting into training and wanting to do it long term. I mean, dude, that's what made the switch from football to, I never was a big football guy, but it made the switch from football to MMA. I mean, dude, it was like a no-brainer. Why would I go and play football and go and do that? I mean, there's many benefits to it, but rather than going and wrestling and finding more about myself than I could on a team sport, or than I could in some pads, or I don't know. I don't even know how to compare the two, but wrestling is just being accepted with open arms was something that I would have never expected, especially from the relationship that I had with that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now he's one of my best friends. I could really say that he's one of my best friends, and he's a very big part of why I'm at where I'm at. He helped me train for my fight a lot. He helped me train for my fight a lot, and he's I mean, I can't wait to keep on growing with that guy, seriously. But that's what really, Buena Wrestling really showed me, that martial arts isn't about being the toughest, baddest motherfucker, being the, sorry, excuse my language, but being the,
you're good.
Yeah, being the crazy guy, like, or being a tough macho man. That's not what martial arts is about, man. What martial arts is about is being comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
Not being the tough guy, not having to put on that persona, but being able to be you, and being able to be comfortable and confident in being you. You know what I mean? And I don't know, it's just Buena Wrestling shaped how I think, shaped how my competitive personality and my perspective on martial arts, definitely. And that's partly because of the coaches I had and the room I had, the teammates. Just like in today's world, where I'm, surrounded by a great coach and Bobby Taylor and Nick, and also with a great teammates like Danny, Zombie, Leo, I mean, Gabe, the list goes on, dude. Like Angel, like those guys are just, I mean, I'm very thankful for the people I surround myself with.
It's fair. Danny's all right, though. Let's be real. Danny's my boy.
Danny, fucking cocksucker.
Danny's my boy. I love that guy.
I know. He's such a good guy.
Danny is, he's got a good sense of humor, and he's a dog, dude. And I can't wait for him to come back. Because a little thing about Danny, I saw him injured, but that didn't stop him from being in the training room with his friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's hard to teach that, because I give, as an instructor, allowance to my guys. Like, hey, if you're injured, go. Don't be here. But the guys who come and watch, I have a lot of respect for. If you're injured, because I go, oh, you're not going to be able to try it. You're not going to be able to do the drills, but you're watching. That means you're really committed to this art. Now you take that one further. You're coming and watching, and your boys are still getting ready, and you're still there for them. And you're saying, what can I do? That's why Danny's a fucking legend. So I very much love him. And I appreciate that, because it's very funny, because, he sent me a text and he was like, oh, it's not looking good, boss. It's looking like I got a little bit of injury. And I was like, oh, fuck, that means we don't see you soon. So I've seen him on the men since, and he knows, Danny, you have to come roll here very, very soon. So props to him. I love that answer for a number of different reasons, because I've always felt like martial arts is almost the antithesis of being a macho man. Like, you're so comfortable in your skin, you don't have to prove it. And it's part of the reason why, if you really go to an event, yeah, of course, there are going to be hotheads. But the people who really train martial arts aren't going to advertise that. They'll just step in when they need to. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of me when I'm around people, because I'll be unassuming. I'm like, listen, dude, I'm not coming here to fight anybody. I'm coming here to enjoy myself, have fun, see my friends, see my family, but don't do anything to them. Bar none. It's as simple as it is. Just don't treat them badly, and we're always going to be cool. Like, treat my people with respect and nicely, and we're all going to get along. And I got news for you. As decent as I am at martial arts, I am a way more wicked tongue. And I will make you look small if I have to. But I don't need to. It's just be nice to people is really all it comes down to. Be respectful, be enjoyable, and don't take yourself seriously is really all the main correspondent checklist that all you have to be. So let's get into this. You've alluded to it now. I think it's important for people to know the history of it. So where does jiu-jitsu start for you? Because you mentioned you found yourself into a wrestling room at the beginning of COVID. But when is your very first jiu-jitsu experience? Because now I want to know the transition from when you start in a wrestling room and then find yourself take your very first jiu-jitsu class, sir.
So I wouldn't say that I've ever been to a jiu-jitsu. I've never been trained by a jiu-jitsu school, but I've been in plenty of rooms where it's martial arts and we work jiu-jitsu, transition elements. Yes. And one of the spots that I've been to where it was heavily jiu-jitsu was Enzo MMA in Santa Barbara. And they had a good group of people. I went to a Saturday open mat, so I didn't go to, I'm sure, where everybody is there, but they had some good people. And I don't know, I would say that my jiu-jitsu journey started more so when I got out of high school. And I started to actually start just Bailey was one of the first jiu-jitsu guys I rolled with, and just kind of more put myself in that jiu-jitsu element of where it's not just wrestling, not just stand-up, where we actually get chokes. And I'll tell you what, dude, my first time getting into jiu-jitsu, I was so bad. Like, I had so many bad habits of wrestling. I just constantly put myself in like a submission or put myself in a bad spot or reversal, or I just had to fight out of it like way harder than if I would have just stayed calm or went for a better technique at the time.
I'm intrigued that you said the first person you rolled with was Bailey.
One of the first.
What was that experience like?
Man, he beat me up. He destroyed me. He fucking destroyed me, man. He submitted me probably like, I don't even know, 10 times, dude. I didn't get one thing on him. And he was a killer, dude. And he was so much lighter than me at the time, too. I remember I was like 200. I was probably around 200 pounds, same weight I am right now, but I was a heavier 200, more, not so much athletic, more weightlifted, big guy, you know, and I went against him and I totally thought I would be able to use my wrestling and boy, was I mistaken. That dude, he put me in positions that I was just didn't have any power, and he submitted me like so many times. Seriously, very good grappler, Bailey.
He's very solid.
Yes.
Bailey and I have very fun rounds, and I love the shit out of him. He is the best Jekyll and Hyde. I have mentioned this multiple times, where I'm like, dude, he's the nicest human being. He was literally asking for permission to come on the mats, and I'm like, we don't do that here. But he's just like, oh brother, can I step on the mats? And I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, and I go, no, don't do that. And he's just like, no, I'm so honored to be here. It's amazing. And I go, okay. And then we start rolling, and I was like, oh, this dude's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And to the point where I'm like, is this a fight? Like, what's happening?
He's
he's a dog. He's great. And then we finish. Dude, that was so much fun. Thank you for having me. And I'm like, who are you? What just happened here? That dude is not the same dude who talked to me over there. Like, what is happening? So Bailey is very, very good. So I'm glad that you had that opportunity. Let me ask this, though. When was the last time you rolled with Bailey?
It was training for this fight, actually. We had some sparring days. It wasn't a roll. It was
more of an MMA all over the place.
MMA, yeah. And I did a lot better with the MMA rule set, and me being a lot heavier than he is, right? Because we all know that Bailey fights at 145, I fight at 185. That's a very big difference.
Hey, you know what? Use that against him. He deserves that.
Yes, he's too good to not, right?
He's good, bro. You gotta use the natural advantages.
Exactly.
At one point, because Bailey, we were doing the same thing with like pins, and I started doing that, and Bailey would come up to me and he was like, brother, we gotta train soon, and man, those pins were good. And I go, I think he wants to murder me because I pinned him a couple times. So
subconsciously, maybe, but not his intentions.
No, I don't know. We'll have to see when he goes Jekyll and Hyde. Because the human side of him is always super good with me. The competitive side that rolls here, that's a different human being.
By the way, can we talk about that fight that he had on a Saturday? That was a very good fight.
And
his opponent showed up game.
He did.
Very prepared.
I went up to Bailey and I told him a couple things. And I won't disclose those things, but I did tell him this. I said, hey, man, head up. That's your second fight.
Second one.
And what's important to me is it wasn't a bad fight. It was a tough fight.
It was.
And I'd rather you have your toughest fights as an amateur so that you learn how to harness your skills and that you don't get overwhelmed when you're a professional. And he took it in. He was very kind. He actually understood me, but he has seemed like the type in the past where maybe that wouldn't be a note that's received, but he received it that night. And I was so happy about it. And I even told him, I was like, hey man, go see your people. Because you bring people in spades, but tonight you were the main event, and for a good reason. And he went out and he went to go talk to him, and he's just always complimentary and super nice. And we already have a time, I'm sure, in the near future to go train. He's been telling me, he's like, well, I gotta come. And I go, great. And what I loved about him is, even though he was incredibly crazy when we rolled, he was like, I'm gonna come back, and he did, to his credit. So, same opportunity is going to be here for you when you now leave this gym here tonight. You are welcome to come back at any time. We'll get more rolls in. And because especially with somebody like Bailey, you're like, damn, that kid is gifted. And I'm not sure people knew what a tank he was, that his opponent had to pull that out of him and beat him that night, because that's how good Bailey is. So we talked about that. We discussed it. But I do want to point this out. You have this incredible moment where you come in, you have family essentially, or friends of family that you get to train with and roll with. What do you remember about your very first rolling experience? Because you talked to us about your very first kind of elements. It wasn't necessarily a class, but like, what stuck out to you? What do you remember about the gym? What do you remember about the first time somebody said, all right, it's jiu-jitsu now. You have to give up all your wrestling. What was like stuff that stuck out to you about that scene and that element?
So the first thing that stuck out to me for sure was being okay with going to your back. That was, as a wrestler, I mean, obviously it's one of the first things that took me the longest time to adjust to.
Yeah.
And I also, I mean, with your hooks and with your butterflies or whatever, you know, your post, whatever it is, you have to be tight and you have to be very almost like shrinked up, like very tight and very quick.
Yeah.
You cannot let a moment pass and you cannot be lazy sitting there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And learning the difference between being like, because in wrestling you chain, you like a chain link, you chain moves together. In jiu-jitsu, just really learning to just keep position. And because I would sit there and I would try to, we'd be sitting there for so long and I'd be like, dude, like let me move, right? And I'm moving and I'm giving up position, and then this guy, I'm like, we're back in the same boat where we're scrambling for 100 miles per hour, and he's trying to row for a leg, and you know, it's a lot of the same game over and over again. Once I learned how to be comfortable on my back, that was the biggest change in my game. When I started to just be okay with fighting off my back, that's the biggest difference I noticed. But off the first times, definitely being okay with being in a non-dominant position, right? That was the hardest part for sure. And still to this day, I mean, I have a hard time being in a non-dominant position, but I'm working on it. We're still trying. We're still growing.
Well, this man did say multiple times, he's like, I'm going to do a jiu-jitsu element with you. And I was like, whatever you want to call it, dude, I don't really care. We're just training.
It's grappling.
It's just grappling.
Yes.
You know, every part of this is important, especially when I feel you're an MMA guy. I try to give you what I think is coming next. Is really what I try to do. Whether it's, hey man, maybe you might be on top this time, or maybe you might have this challenge, or they're really good at this. Like if somebody fights, it's a little different than if I roll with a hobbyist, because a hobbyist doesn't necessarily have the same needs or things that they have to accomplish. But if you're fighting, it's like, hey man, this is a good time to teach you or really show you, hey, if they have this underhook, it could be deadly. Or if they have this, could be a problem to doing what you want to do. So I do see that for you. Okay, here's the next question though. I'm not sure it's happened, but I'm going to ask it. When did you fall in love with jiu-jitsu? Now, here's the real emphasis behind the question. Because for you as a wrestler, it is hard to fall in love with jiu-jitsu. It's a completely different game. As you mentioned, you give up certain elements of your superiority that you can do as a wrestler. But when, if at all, did you fall in love with jiu-jitsu?
I started falling in love with jiu-jitsu when I was able to reverse positions rather than trying to work and trying to force them and force a reversal or force a dominant position. I was able to sit there and reverse it because and for example, like that ghost escape I kept trying to hit today, that's great. One of those things where you're in a very bad position, especially in fighting. You get caught there a lot. And it's like that. If you don't catch that moment, you might be stuck there for a while.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's about those moments and those traps and those little like sneaky tricks of getting out and reversing where I fell in love with it, because I'm still not so good in jiu-jitsu in the part where I could like hold you there and set up a tricky submission or totally like throw you one way and make you think I'm doing something else and trick you. Like I'm not a very tricky jiu-jitsu guy, right? I'm very basic and I don't have a lot of setups, but I'm very game and I'm very competitive and I'm very good with pressure, staying close and very pressure, right? So once I was able to get those reversals and able to get those almost like switches with allowing you, like, not every time you're going to get the takedown, not every time you're going to be in the dominant position, and allowing myself to work from there and get those reversals, that's what made me fall in love with it. Being in an undominant position and quickly switching it, that's what made me fall in love with it, for sure.
I love that. We heard your journey to fighting MMA, but not everybody has to fight MMA. So for you, why do you feel the need that you have to fight MMA?
Mhm. Hmm. Wow. I will. I would. I don't know. I would say. So growing up as a human, you have personas, right?
Mhm.
You are given personas. People start to give you characteristics, right? Growing up, people would I automatically address me as the bigger kid or the kid who was a tough, I don't, for whatever reason, I never did anything to prove that, right?
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, you get these personas. And then my whole thing was like, I knew exactly who I was. I could not fight. I was not tough. I was not a big kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I knew that the moment I got tested, I was going to fall, right? And almost like it's almost unhealthy in a way, letting myself, like letting other people's opinions sculpt that into who I tried to become at a young age. But I'm also thankful for it, because I'm so glad that now I am the person that I am. But at the same time, like, maybe I went about it the wrong way, right? Maybe I decided I needed to be a fighter. Maybe I decided I needed to be capable because other people put that image on me. And I'm thankful for the person I am. I love the type of person I am. I love the stuff I got myself into, and it definitely made me who I am and makes me who I am. But maybe there is that aspect of like, I got into it for the wrong reason, because those personas as humans, we get put onto ourselves those characteristics and we almost ride with them. Like, I wanted to be that tough guy so bad. I wanted to be that guy that everyone saw, the big guy, the macho, the guy who could fight, right? I wanted to be him so bad. And that's what led into it. But the reason why I stuck with it is because of who I found when I decided to take that, to make those decisions, to shape my personality into that guy who I found in that search. That's where I was like, you know what? This is why I need to fight. I'm a fighter. I always knew I was a fighter since I was a kid. I always knew I was a fighter. It's about me getting into it now that I'm an adult and I can make my own decisions. You know what I mean? That's the best way I could explain it.
Well, thank you for that. And I mean, it's difficult to always understand the exact pinpoint that happens. But in your particular case, what I felt was great. We talked a little bit about this before we were even training, but I remember telling you, like, Dan, you went into wrestling in 2000 or 2020.
2022,
In 2020.
basically, because that's when I
2022?
first started.
Okay.
Junior year, right? 2021, 2022.
But you went into that era of your life not just saying, let me be a wrestler, but like somewhere in the back of your mind, you're going to show up as a fighter. And I feel like the one thing, and the reason why I feel like you're such a good grappler in the way that we were able to have good rounds back and forth, from the get-go, you had a goal that was a long-term goal. And you've just been making that long-term goal happen bit by bit. So every little piece of intelligence or work that you've put in has been chipping away at that goal, so that when you did get that incredible result on your very first MMA fight, you realized, oh, I like this and I want to keep doing it. And now it's an incredible display of my competitive nature and my athletic nature, where I want to merge those two together and be this fighter I knew I could always be. And so I like that about you, because I think that explains why you've succeeded at combining those two things together. It's part of the reason why when we were rolling, I was like, oh, he had a purpose when he was starting wrestling. Some people just do wrestling because they're like, oh, it's fun, or I'm learning something new, or it's something to do at the time, and they gravitate toward that challenge. You joined wrestling and you said, this is going to help me in the future because I've seen what it does for other MMA fighters. And it was a great bank and a great study. So I feel like you did a very smart thing in making those things work for you. But I do notice that now that you have this whole new world in front of you, it's like, okay, how do you improve even that? Like, how do you go beyond that world, that goal, et cetera, et cetera? So that's kind of why I'm intrigued to see where your story goes. And I love the fact that you got to fight with us at RFL, and I'm very excited to see what comes next. So I guess that's the next question is, what comes next? So for you, when are you fighting next? Because it seems like that's happening. And where do you see yourself going, sir?
Well, I don't want to give any official dates, but I would say that they asked me to fight again for RFL April 18th. Okay. And that's definitely something I've been considering. Okay. I'm looking to fight again. I'm looking to come in against another opponent who's ready to fight, who shows up. I don't want any excuses. I don't want any I don't want anything that they could say you know, like I wasn't prepared. I want someone who's prepared and there to fight. And whether that's April 18th or with the RFL, or whether that's with whoever decides to give me a fight, I'm definitely looking to compete again. And with the team and the coaches that I have, I'm so confident in wherever I decide to go. And yeah, this is definitely something that I plan to do for a while.
And you should. You're the good build, you're the good style. It's tough, and I feel like you got your first taste of it, so it's hard not want to do it again immediately. Like that's the difficult part, is like, man, you gotta wait some time. So it feels like you're building the right skill set, and I'm very much looking forward to that, sir. So I guess what I'm saying is, I'm looking forward to that next thing. I'm looking forward to whatever your next challenge is. And I'm looking forward to the next time you pop into here, sir. So you have an open invite to come through whenever. And I mean, I can reveal this. I tried hitting my man with a banana split, and he was not going to tap to that. And I have to tell you, I'm not bad at it. So I felt challenged. I was like, damn, I got to do that the next time. So I feel like next time we roll, I got to try and hit that, bro.
I'll be looking to counter it. I've never been hit by it. I've never been hit with the banana split.
I was like, damn, okay, that's a tougher beast. Because he was telling me that somebody, again, you heard it here, somebody beyond my comprehension and skills was doing it to him. And I'm like, oh, now I got to really try to do it. So I'm going to do that. But you have open invites to come back here anytime, sir. What I would love for you to do, that is your camera right there. Go ahead and shout out friends, family members, anybody who helped you be the grappler that you were. I'm going to put the camera on you. That is there. Let me go ahead and recenter that, because you moved a little bit, but I will give you your according space, sir. That is you.
Thank you to Ventura Top Team, right? Bobby Taylor, Danny, John Miller, Leo, Gabe, Angel, the list goes on. Bailey from Pugilist. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better camp, couldn't have asked for a better outcome. I appreciate everyone who showed up, everyone who helped me train for it, and I like to do more in the future. That's all I got to say. Stay humble.
As you should. And you know what, man? Congratulations to you. You're definitely a good kid. You got some good stuff. I had a blast training with you today. I'm already looking forward to the next time, because I noticed this about him, and he won't say it, but I was like, I think he's downloading part of my game too. And so I was like, oh, I think he's coming back next time. Incredibly motivated.
Prepared.
Well, the only problem is I'm going to take that hot honey pizza from him the next time. When he comes back here, he was like, oh, I'm way more motivated. I was like, I don't think he understands. He's a fake fat kid. This is a real fat kid. So I'm going to take that pizza from him, and I'll have no problem. And the thing is, we never say how rolls go here. But when I pull that pizza and you see me eat it at the very beginning of the show, as I intro it, if it happens, you might know something.
I'm not one to argue, but I will say, when pizza's involved,
okay,
I show up game every single time, and this guy is in for a treat the next time I show up.
I like that.
Especially
That's a good
considering
promo.
that the hot honey pizza is on the line. And when you see
Okay.
both of us
Uh-huh.
grab our slices, you'll see who won by how good that slice tastes. You know what I mean?
That look that happens to the audience. I'm just telling you this fake ass fat kid right here is looking at you and telling you like, yeah, I'm gonna bring it. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. Dude who's in shape. Yeah, okay. Tell the people that you really want food. Meanwhile, this guy, if you look at the two of us, who really would fight more for food? Just legitimately look at the two of us.
I'm in shape because I just came off training camp. I'm just saying, if you were to see me a few months ago, maybe a month ago, I had a big panza on me, you know?
He did. This dude, listen, there's no way this dude who has been flexing in 12 different mirrors that have happened all around this gym.
Make me look bad. How am I supposed to get a girlfriend when they're over here thinking I'm so full of myself?
Brother, here's the thing. If a girl can't admire you for the way you're looking at yourself in the mirror, she ain't the one. It's just who you are.
You heard it here first, ladies.
I'm just telling you. But I had a blast. I'm going to go ahead and kill the part of this. I'm going to do my plugs, but I have to tell you, man, great first fight, incredible debut, reflection of who you are and what you have been doing behind the scenes and the prep that you've done, I know, for your team as well. So major congratulations to
I
you,
appreciate it, seriously. More than you know.
Thank you, sir. All right. Few reminders. First and foremost, like, comment, subscribe. We told you to do that. And I told you, if you didn't have something to put in the comment section, I would give you a prompt. Here is your prompt right now. What is your specific pizza order? This man has told us he has multiple ones. Now, chicken and barbecue go together. Hawaiian pizza, not bad. But he was also telling you he got it from Domino's. And he made a very, very public appeal to that. So I'm not sure where you go, but tell us what the order is and where you're ordering it from. Because I'll tell you this, Little Caesars, respect. Domino's, okay. You bring a Papa John's pizza to my party, you're out. Get out. I'm
kicked from the lobby.
Out. I don't do that shit. I'm not in college anymore. I don't need that shit. So do that, like, comment, subscribe. You could also check us out, patreon.com/grappling hour. See these interviews 30 days before anybody else. And for a few extra dollars, see extra bonus content not available anywhere else, including Roast Raf, tape studies, what our athletes' favorite matches of the year are, Grappling Hour Challenge, much, much more. Grapplinghour.com. I'm sorry, patreon.com/grappling hour. Additionally, if you want this merch, Grappling Hour t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, go to Grappling Hour, sure, but go to rafsparza.com/merch. Get you those merch. Every single penny you put goes right back into the show. And earlier, I was wearing a Grappling Hour tank top when we were rolling because I got to promo the band. And if this man's trying to beat me up, I want to make sure at least I look good doing it. So there is that. So Grappling Hour tank tops, hoodies, tank tops, t-shirts. Check that out, rafsparza.com/merch. And last but not least, if you want to continue the discussions we have here on the show, check us out on our Discord. That's going to do it for us here at the show. Thank you so much for watching. On behalf of both myself and Andrew here, thank you so much for watching. It's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.
Perfect.